Now moving on to number 7 here. This is the SBA loan. Some people call it it's SBA loan, or it's a Small Business Administration loan.
Correct.
And in order to stimulate the economy, the Small Business Administration has worked with the banks, and basically what they do is they've come up with a system where they actually help guarantee loans. And so I think currently it's like 85% guarantee. So the idea is if a local bank lends you money, the Small Business Administration will guarantee up to about 85% of that loan, meaning that if, God forbid, the small business owner does default on their loan and doesn't pay off the loan, the federal government will come in and help pay off that loan to the bank. But can you walk me through how common an SBA loan is anymore with franchising? Is this very common, or?
It's very, very common today, and it's become more common over the years. It used to be only for larger investments. SBA loans were typically for brick and mortar type businesses, were large investments, but that's shifted today where they've brought the requirements down, where most everyone can benefit from an SBA loan is for as small as $100,000, and even today there's some that can be done for $50,000.
I've heard in franchising there's like you can actually have an SBA approved franchise.
Yeah, SBA registry.
What does that mean?
It means that they've gotten very proactive about having franchisors share information about their concepts with the SBA registry. And then they put together details of that, and then if you meet the criteria, they allow you to be pre-approved on the registry.
Really?
Our franchise concepts, for example, are pre-approved on the registry.
So the idea, it's kind of like the SBA has somewhat vetted or endorsed and said, hey, this business is solid enough of an investment that we're going to go ahead and pre-approve this business, meaning that we'll lend money if you're going to buy this kind of franchise.
Absolutely. They even look at the franchise license agreement. They look at the track record of the company. They look at the length of time it's been in business. They look at the principals and the team that's operating and assisting franchisees.
Now, no business is perfect, and there's not a franchise out there that's ever sold 100 franchises and every single one of them is doing great. I mean, because ultimately it comes down to the human who bought the franchise implementing the system. But for your business, for instance, you guys are SBA approved, right? So what does that mean? How long of a process was that for you to become SBA approved?
The first time around, it took a number of months. Okay. And now to renew each year, it's a not too time consuming because they have a record with us, a track record.
Yeah.
In the early stages, it can take a little bit of time, and sometimes you will be turned down from the registry until your franchise concept has a little bit more of a track record.
Okay.
Or you're willing to make some modifications to the license agreement, some clauses that can be put in there that if it does not continue to be successful and relates to the SBA being involved.
Okay. Now, we're looking at the funding option number 8 here. This is funding option number 8. Cracking the nest egg. So even if like a 401k rollover is not an option for somebody watching this, many franchise entrepreneurs have actually tapped into their retirement funds. Maybe they have stocks and they've just said, I'm going to get out of the stock market and invest in myself. How common is this?
It's become very common.
Okay.
People are really frustrated by the employment issue. They're frustrated by the investment issues. And they realize now that the only way to take control of your destiny is to be self-sufficient. And many times that means that you're going to need to be self-employed to do that. So be able to control that and use that nest egg as a platform to enhance your future, to grow that return on that investment. So actually, you still have a nest egg, and now you become your own banker. You've gotten proactive about your investment, turned it into wealth and equity, and you're putting that back into your nest egg.
As a business consultant, I've worked with businesses over the years, and I've noticed a lot of people who are in their 40s who work for a corporation they've been at for 20 years, 15 years or so. Corporation comes in and lays them off. There's some strategic merger or something happens. Right. And now this 40-year-old has said, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. And they bring with them a wealth of experience, knowledge. They have a certain business acumen because they've been in business a long time. They understand systems, and they do very well as franchise owners. Can you think of an example of somebody over the years who had no other source of funding available other than to just raid the retirement who's done well? Can you think of some examples of that?
Literally thousands.